AITAH for refusing to give my cousin the money I've been saving for my lifelong dream? I, 20F, have been saving for a study abroad program since I was 18. It's not just a trip, it's been my dream for years to travel, learn, and grow outside of my hometown. I've worked endless shifts, skipped vacations, and sacrificed so much to finally have enough money to make it happen. I've been counting down the days. Enter my cousin, 23F. She's recently pregnant and struggling financially. Last week, she came to me asking for money to help with baby expenses. Not a small amount either, basically everything I've saved. She called it a family emergency and said it's my duty to help because, according to her, my dream trip is just a luxury compared to her needs. When I said no, she flipped out. She accused me of being selfish, heartless, and not caring about her or her baby. She told me I can just save up again, like 2 years of hard work can magically be redone overnight. Then Mom, my aunt, chimed in, saying I'm a terrible family member and that I'll regret this when older. My cousin even told the rest of my family, and now everyone is texting me, saying I'm prioritizing a vacation over her child's future. I've worked so hard for this, and I don't feel like it's fair to give it all up just because she didn't plan her life better. But the guilt trips are getting to me, and now I'm questioning myself. Am I being selfish for wanting to protect something I've worked years to achieve?
AITAH because I won't delay having a hysterectomy after the birth of my baby so I can be a surrogate for my sister. I 28F am having my third and final child with my husband and I have a scheduled C-section and hysterectomy planned. My period started when I was young 9 and I have suffered with them ever since. They're extremely painful, heavy and very long. I wasn't even sure if I could get pregnant with my issues, but I knew I wanted children, so I delayed even when the option was originally presented to me. It was worth it, but these extra years have been torture on my body. My sister 31F is struggling with infertility. She's had some fertility treatments, but nothing has worked for her yet. It was suggested to her on more than one occasion that she could consider a surrogate. She was very against it for so long. In another situation, one where I didn't have all the problems I have, I would have offered for her because we're so close. But I need to be done. I don't know if I'll honestly survive like I have been if I wait another couple of years, or more so my sister can have kids. In December, my sister came right out and asked me not to have the hysterectomy yet and to be her surrogate so she can be a mother too. I told her I was so sorry and if my body wasn't giving me the hell it is, I'd do it for her, but I couldn't delay it any longer. She got upset but told me it was fine and she understood. She'd get over it. I could tell it bothered her, but I didn't want to fight about it. Then Christmas came and my bill got involved. Our whole family was together Christmas Day, and when everyone was busy he asked to speak to me and then he berated me for my selfishness and he said if I loved my sister as much as I said I'd delay it like I did for my own selfish reasons. My husband and my mom heard him and they stepped in to defend me and my husband told my bill to back off and nobody should ever be put under pressure to carry a pregnancy. Mom said emotions might be high around it but none of this is my fault. And he shouldn't attack me like that. Bill told them I broke my sister's heart and he was pissed at me for it. My mom told him again that it wasn't my fault. The rest of Christmas Day was strained and afterward my sister told me she was sorry about her husband, but they were just so upset and they felt robbed of having a baby biologically related to the two of them. I told her I was so sorry and I was here if she needed me. Bill reached out and said my sister might be sorry, but he still thinks I'm incredibly selfish.
My dad's M50 wife makes me, F26, pretend I'm not his daughter. So, this is a bit of a complicated story, but I'll keep it as straightforward as possible. I, F26, was around 4 to 5 when my parents divorced. I grew up with my mom, stepdad, and younger siblings, while my dad, M50, moved to another country, remarried, and we eventually lost contact. Without going into too much detail, it's a 3 to 5 business day explanation. It was largely due to his new relationship. Fast forward to recently, I moved to the same country to live with my partner, and I decided to reach out to my dad. We reconnected, but under humiliating conditions. My dad's wife demands that I'm introduced as a family friend to their kids, who don't know I'm their sister. As you can imagine, visiting is always awkward. I can't call him dad or talk much about myself or my family because my stepmom dislikes hearing about it. This New Year's, my partner and I were invited over to their house for lunch. It was going okay, aside from my stepmom's mom ignoring my partner the whole time, until one of their kids loudly announced, "Everyone here is family except OP and her partner." I felt so embarrassed and excluded, especially knowing that everyone at the table was already aware of my real identity but was told not to acknowledge it. To make it worse, my stepmom chimed in with, "Well, what about the dogs?" And my sibling replied, "Yeah, but I meant only we have this last name." That stung, especially since I'm the OG born with their last name. This reminded me of a previous gathering where everyone knew me as my father's daughter, but I now realize everyone there likely knew the secret sibling situation and had been told not to acknowledge it. Thinking back, it makes me feel delayed embarrassment, like I was the only one not in on this unspoken rule. It's left me feeling deeply hurt. I love the kids, and they really enjoy seeing me. They're always asking when I'll visit again. My stepmom insists I visit more to keep the kids happy, and I'm questioning why I should keep sacrificing my dignity for their comfort. I'm debating whether to confront my dad about how excluded I feel or to cut ties altogether. I don't want to lose all contact with the kids, but I also want to stand up for myself, as this situation has opened up my unhealed abandonment issues. The silver lining here is how supportive my partner has been through all this. Luckily, he is my family here. And soon, we'll be married and can have our own matching last names too, smiley face.
How do I 28F deal with my best friend's fianc 39 meters comments about my pregnancy without losing the friendship? I've 28F had a heart condition called congenital aortic stenosis since I was 10 and had to undergo open heart surgery 3 years ago to replace the valve. The surgery wasn't easy and my doctor told me I should wait 1 to 2 years before trying to get pregnant so my heart had enough time to fully recover. My husband and I waited even longer just to be safe. Her fianc know all about this as they've been together even before my surgery. My best friend and I have known each other for over 9 years and she's like a sister to me. A week ago, my husband and I told them that we're expecting and they seemed genuinely happy for us and invited us to dinner to celebrate 2 days ago. During the dinner, her fianc kept asking questions like, "Why did you want to get pregnant so badly?" I answered with something about how my mom's love made me feel secure and I wanted to give that same love to my child. He just laughed at my response and said, "But how do you know your kid will love you back? What if you're pregnant with one of those kids from documentaries who end up hurting their parents?" He kept pushing, asking why I'd take the risk when my husband already loves me. My husband and I tried to explain that it isn't the same, but he kept going saying things like, "What if your kid ends up not loving you or something?" My best friend tried to get him to stop, but he just wouldn't. I got the feeling that he thinks I went through the surgery and everything just because I wanted to have a child and somehow has a problem with that. After we left, she texted me 2 times to make sure I wasn't mad at her and called me later to tell me that her fianc didn't mean anything and he was just trying to be funny and that he probably wouldn't apologize. My husband thinks we should distance ourselves from her fianc and he even suggested doing the same with my best friend at least for a while. I love her and don't want to lose her over this, but I'm also upset and confused by her fianc's behavior.
AITAH for refusing to thank my sil because she had to babysit her own kids? My 22F brother, 35 meters, surprised me 6 months ago by planning a trip to Scotland for my birthday. He knew I've never traveled before and wanted to take me to my dream country. Due to tight finances, it was just the 2 of us, which I was okay with since at the time him and I were close. For context, my brother is married and has 2 kids under 6. His wife, 34F. Had said she was happy for me and didn't mind holding down the fort for a week while we're on the trip. Her and I have never been close and quite frankly just tolerate each other for the sake of keeping the peace. She's never been a fan of how close my siblings are with each other. It all comes down to growing up in different family dynamics, IMO. Anyway, the trip was amazing and I loved every second of it. I was on such a high when we came back that I thanked my brother so many times for doing this for me until he told me to shut up. Hello. I thought everything was good and we resumed our lives normally. Imagine my surprise when I get a text 3 days after coming back from my sil telling me off and calling me rude and ungrateful cause I didn't send her a text thanking her for babysitting on her own and having to do everything around her house for a whole week while I had fun with her husband. Yep, that's exactly how she worded it. I was flabbergasted. This is the same woman who smiled and told me to have fun on my trip, and now she's berating me for not thanking her for doing me a favor by taking care of her kids for a week. Am I crazy, or is that totally irrational and just weird? I told her I'm not sure taking care of your own children is babysitting or doing someone else a favor, and she blew up at me calling me a terrible ungrateful brat and that I never show appreciation for anything. I was so confused by all of this and called my brother, but he doubled down and told me the trip wouldn't have been possible had she not volunteered to take care of their kids so we can have fun, and that I should be thanking her for doing it for me. I was and still am confused on why I need to thank a mother for taking care of her own kids. Anyway, to keep the peace, I told her thanks for doing it, but she decided I wasn't being sincere and convinced my brother to go low contact with me. My siblings and my mom were confused by all of this, but keep telling me to just bite my tongue and not stir the pot any further. But I'm just hurt and confused. My relationship with my brother has been strained since, and it's taking a toll on me. I just need outside opinions because I'm genuinely confused on whether or not I'm the asshole in this whole mess.